Hello lovely people. This week I'm doing something which you will be familiar with if you've been subscribed for a year or more, because that is my little birthday chat video.
Sophie Vlogs.
If you've been here for a while, you will know that every birthday you sit down with a mug of tea and I do some musings and I set myself some goals and I reflect on last year's goals. This year, 28 degrees Celsius. I've shut the windows so that the noise doesn't get in, but like melting. So I have a glass of water on the stand and I might lose my brain as it turns into goop. So I'm going to try and keep it like a little concise this year. Normally we're all like rambly chatty, but this time I'm going to be like focused. The whole point of this is just because I like to view birthdays, and this is a metaphor I use every time, it's like a little cocoon moment, whereby like the little caterpillar that is me, each year birthday comes around, and I wrap myself in like good intentions and wishes and reflections and all this sort of thing, and then I like go forward into the next year and I view like I'm like, oh, I'm going to become like the butterfly human that I always want to be. And then like a year passes and I have done some of the things and not all of the things because I am human and fallible. So, I'll link to last year's video if you fancy watching that. It was a lot more aesthetically pleasing, I think. This time I'm just sweaty and I've just finished work, so I'm like, put no effort into this. Essentially, I've just turned 25, July the 24th. Lovely Leo here. I've just turned 25. And 24 has been a weird year. As I'm sure you're aware, there's been a lot happening in the world. I'm not going to go into that, but like, I've been aware of it. It's had an effect. It's been like an odd year, 2017 to 2018. It's been a time. On top of that, 24 has been the year of like minor health issues. Caveat, I'm fine. I am extremely lucky that everything I'm just about to mention, it's all fine. In the grand scheme of life, smalls. However, just as like a reflecting over a year, what has been like the main themes of my 24th year? Doctor first. So like, just as like some context, this time last year, I found a lump on my leg, and I was like, ooh, what's this? Baffled some medical professionals for a while, had some ultrasounds and some biopsies, and actually had a very lovely time in all of them. And then it turns out I have like this really rare mutation in a hair follicle. It's super fine. Hopefully gonna be having an operation at some point, but like that's super chill. It's all benign. We're great. But that was like a topic. And then I've developed tinnitus, which is like a thing. But like it was only in one ear, so then like they were like, ooh, what's causing this? So I had loads of more tests, had my first MRI scan, which was an experience. There's nothing, they can't find anything. It's just I now have tinnitus, which is in the scale of tinnitus. I don't think it's that bad. I can like cope with it. It's fine. So like just making an effort to be like conserve the ears a bit. It's why I'm very behind on podcasts actually, because I'm trying to not listen to things in headphones so much because I want to look out for these bad boys. And then, like, I spent New Year's Eve with a really bad case of gastroenteritis, which was, like, a way to enter the new year. I like to think that my body was, like, purging, and then I could enter 2018 as, like, you know, like a clean human. More recently, I've had eczema my whole life. It's been, like, a whole struggle thing. I don't think the video's still live, but I did make a body positive video that was all about, like, my eczema journey. I don't know if that's ever going to go live again. I'm not sure. But it's a thing. And more recently at some point, my nurse isn't entirely sure how this happened, but it was the only explanation we could come up with. My eczema got really bad, like probably the worst it's ever been in my life. And somehow it gave me a fever, which I had for a week. So I had to spend a week off work, just like shivering and sweating. So like, this is a really hot, like bad way to introduce like a goals video. But I've been very acutely aware of my body this year. There's been some other things as well I won't go into, like, this doesn't need to become like a Sophie Has Medical Rants video, but like, suffice to say, there's been like this topic. So, going into my 25th year, One of my main plans is just to like treat this well. That's like in terms of like skin, trying not to scratch, really trying not to scratch, and like doing lots of like good, uh, safe skincare because I also had an allergic reaction to a moisturizer, which meant my whole face was like ah. It's been a time, guys. But yeah, like what I'm drawing from all of this is like, I am constantly like amazed at bodies and how much like bodies do. Like my eczema means that my body is constantly healing itself pretty much. And like I just want to try and do as much as possible to like just be gentle with myself and understanding with myself because like a lot of those things there's nothing I can do about them. Like I can't do anything about my tinnitus. But like I can try and do stuff to take like care of myself and to like lower stress levels, which will then like help with the tinnitus and the eczema. You know, so like oh yeah, I couldn't sleep for ages. I had like 2 months where I just wasn't sleeping. So like again, I think there's all these things which I could probably do to like look after myself a bit more rather than just like assume that I'm fine, that I'm just going to cope with things. Because I think what this year has proved is that my body can't cope with things very well. So like that's been like a topic. I feel like I'm still like mulling that over, but it's just been very like defining this year. Topic number 2 is, last year I set myself that I wanted to learn to drive. I have not done that, however, I have sat in a car and like, well I have like gone to a car park and like rolled a car around into like a parking bay and stuff, which was like intense for me, and I got my boyfriend to take me, so probably more intense for him. But that happened, and I have bought my theory book and I'm taking theory lessons. My main obstacle has been that although I have picked the driving school I want to do it in, they will only take bookings via phone, and I don't like to phone people, so I'm like hyping myself up to that. But hopefully, by this time next year when I'm doing my next one of these, I mean, learning to drive takes a while, so I'm not going to be like, I will be a driver. But like, maybe I'll have actually booked those lessons, had a few lessons, we'll see. So like, that's a continual topic. I'm bringing that across from last year. But that leads into, these are not necessarily goals for the 25th year of my life. These are goals for whenever I can learn to drive. I have 2 things I want to do. One, I want to go to yoga classes because like I have issues with like exercise that involves like high intensity and sweating because I come out in heat hives and my eczema goes crazy. So yoga I did for a while when I was at university and it was lovely. But I specifically want to go to yoga classes because I really enjoyed like the like space and having someone talking me through it, because like how do you know if you're doing yoga correctly if you're doing it on your own, you know? Like I don't know these things. That's like point number 1. Point number 2, I've decided I want to learn to play the harp. I played classical guitar for like 10 years when I was a child. I've been to like more theatre this year, which has been wonderful, and I would like to continue that on to the 25th year, just more theatre in general. Lovely, lovely, like musicals, opera, like dramatic plays, stuff like this. Ooh, yes. About 3 of these times, there has been a person with a beautiful harp, and I've just been like mesmerised, like half watching what's happening on the stage, and half just like watching this person play the harp. So I kind of want to learn the harp, but again, would need someone to teach me, which would involve being able to drive to go to lessons, because the way my current work time works, I don't have any times in the evenings to do like anything really. My 4th, I think, 5th, I can't remember if we're on a number. The next goal is, I read more food writing this year. I read Eat Up by Ruby Tando, which was wonderfully invigorating and a reminder of like why I love food and nurturing and all of these like delightful things that I as a Hufflepuff am just like innately drawn to, like nurturing other people through food, nurturing myself through food, food as like combating certain things, and like just into it. So and I bought some more recipe books, and I would like to do more cooking outside of my comfort zone. Like I think my main reason why I don't cook using my recipe books as much as I think I would like to is because like it's a whole topic. Like you have to like get lots of ingredients, and as I said, like I work weird hours, so like my main, like I just stop into the little corner shop on my way home, and then I come home and like I'm limited by like what they have, which is the exact same stuff every time. And I'm vegetarian, my boyfriend doesn't love vegetables, which means that cooking for people is a bit tricky, and I always find it weird, like cooking like a big meal for myself, like a big, you know, like a serve 6 type thing, because it's like, well, it's just like an entire week of me eating the same thing, innit? But like, so there's a ramble. Maybe I could like offer to cook for my friends more. Maybe I could offer to like cook for my family more. I don't know, but there's like this whole topic of cooking, which I think 25-year-old Sophie could do something with. I'm saying it to you. Do it. As a birthday present to myself, I bought myself some more food writing, which I will be doing a birthday haul at some point. It's just I'm spreading my birthday out as long as possible, so I still have to see my mum for it, and I know she's giving me books because I asked her to give me books. So like, pin in that will come on the horizon soon. I don't know if I have much more else to say. I don't know if I have any more goals to really give myself. I feel like when I started this, I was younger and I was more insecure, and I gave myself more goals because I viewed myself more as like this real work in progress. I felt much more inadequate. I felt much more that other people were getting their lives together and I had no plan and no concept of a plan, and as they say in Friends, I don't even have a pl. That's how I felt, and I think I did these videos because it felt really cathartic to me to like sort of like give myself goals, and then I was coming up with a plan even if I didn't know what I wanted to do like professionally or blah blah blah, like I had like personal goals. Whereas at this point I have a job that I actually love, can be a little stressful sometimes, but I love it, and it's creative, and I work with lovely human beings, and it's very fulfilling to me actually. I have a relationship which I love. Living together is like one of the best decisions I've ever made, so like home life, great. My family are lovely, everyone is happy and healthy and good, and like I just find myself with less of a need to set solid goals because I'm just kind of worked out that if I just go with it, sometimes good things happen. That's how I got my job, that's how I met my boyfriend, that's how like all of this sort of happened and I got to this place. So like, I'm just happy. If you know me in real life, I just chatter on sometimes, and that's what this is. So like, I'm going to draw it to a close because as I previously mentioned, I'm sweltering. Good God. Suffice to say, like, 24 has been an interesting year. It has been a year, I think, of settling in some ways and disruption in other ways, namely my body. So going forward, I would like to have better care of this, like, have those practical, they're like more practical things, I think, this time. But, yeah, I'm going to stop now because I'm just babbling for the sake of it. How are you? How are you going? Do you set yourself goals? Are you a goal setter? If so, like, what are some of your goals? I hope everything is absolutely wonderful with you. I hope you're having the most lovely times of growth and joy and nurturing and all that jazz. And I'll see you next week for some book-related content again.